can I circle back real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had both of you straw man why you think that people were, why they are this angry, or why they think they're this angry, or whatever it is. I want to sort of finish up with the sort of fill in the gaps where I think you guys left out some stuff. So I think you had some accurate stuff, and the way that you characterized it was even true according to the left, right? I mean, some of the stuff you said is, they would think is wrong, but is a valid perspective on it because those are the facts. It's just a narrative that doesn't really, wouldn't be familiar to the people you're talking about. But I think a big part of, and I'm just going to say this one thing about it, I think a big part of what you both are missing is, again, it's the culture war stuff. And I know I've told you many times that Trump is seen on the right, especially the populist right, as a culture warrior. And like, you can laugh at that and you can sneer at that. And that's actually part of what's driving the all of the anger and resentment that you're seeing. Like, that's a big part of it. I mean, you remember, Chris, like, I'm, again, not attacking you, but you opened up by saying white, dumb, poor, uneducated, white trash, right? And they know that, and they hear that, and they've heard that from, for example, Hillary Clinton saying basket of deplorables. I remember hearing that, and I wasn't even shocked when she said it, because I was like, yeah, I know Democrats think that about us. And all the Republican pundits were freaking out about it. And then I started thinking about it. It's like, oh yeah, that's a really shitty thing to say about half the country. Right. So like,
but it's like, so, and I get that these people don't reflect you, but I would say the people that stormed the Capitol today are deplorables. And so it's when I say like this white trash stuff, it's not like, I'm not directing this at half the country. I'm directing this at like 10% of the country. And I think that's like pretty accurate.
Right, but I'm explaining their mindset again.
I get
right.
It.
So that, like, they whether it's true or not, and I believe there is some truth to this. They have been just supporting Trump, just wanting immigration reform for non-racist reasons, just wanting like whatever it is, all the cultural, like just wanting boys and girls bathrooms without being sneered at for it. Those kinds of like really simple culture issues.
I get that.
Okay, and the response is not just no, you're wrong. The response has been no, you're wrong, you're evil, and you're dumb. Right, and it's been building up for the past 6-8 years, right? Especially Obama's second term onwards, coming into Trump, and still through the Trump presidency. Right, it seems like every major popular institution, aside from a few like Fox News and whatever it is, seems to be pointed directly at the Trump voter, telling them how stupid they are, how evil they are, and how they're bitter clingers with their Bibles and their guns, and they are a thing of the past and they need to be overrode. Those are the people in this crowd, and I'm not saying the people in this crowd are correct to do what they did. Again, I'll go back, allude to what I said earlier. They need to do their homework, but that is the driver. That is what you saw out there today, right? And so that actually ties into the question that you asked me, Tim, which was, how much do you think Trump had to do with this, right? And again, we all three of us disagree with this. I believe Trump is more of a symptom than he is a creator, right? This stuff existed before him. This stuff started. This stuff has started since time immemorial, but this in this country kind of ramping up under President Obama, and then accelerating through Trump. And Trump is seen as sort of like a channeler of it, but not the cause of it on the right. So to answer your question,
if I want to make an analogy there, I would say that maybe I don't necessarily want to go to a negative connotation analogy, because I'm not trying to say that mindset is necessarily negative. Like, I understand when you're disenfranchised and you feel like everything is going against your beliefs, that you're going to be passionate about it. But the analogy that came to mind was, maybe a drug addict or an alcoholic or something, right? Where, they had their way of doing things. They were an addict. They had issues. And then along came meth or some other stronger drug that just exploded it, right? And that would be Trump, right? Like, I think he took what was kind of an issue growing and happening, which may have diffused, may not have, may have continued. I don't know, right? But literally lit the fuse on it and expounded on it, and like by him coming out and continuing to push conspiracy theories and untrue rhetoric and these types of thoughts, which is why he got elected in the first place. But for him to do those things from the position he had, I think really, really forced things in a bad direction. And
yeah, he definitely could have done it way better, man. I know we could do all day.
You know what?
On Trump, just the first year of Trump, we could do all day on. But
and I'll be quite honest. I mean, I know that we're technically discussing news right now, but this really does go directly into the topic. I think it flows right into it perfectly. Or rather, I would say it is this complementary discussion to the Republican Party splitting, because it's something I saw earlier. You know, let's be real. Like, Mitt Romney is one of the most like staunch conservatives. Like, he's a conservative by virtue and by value. Like, he will vote the way you want him to vote on tax bills. He ran for president. He almost won. I mean, surprisingly, I actually am surprised.
Surprisingly is right.
He led a strong campaign. He was like a top Republican figure and always has been. Last week, you saw him getting like heckled by supporters, and then the entire plane ride, people like chanting that like he's a traitor, like because he's not.
So I just want to point out, and this ties into what I was saying about how the right is perceived in this country and how it grates. This Mitt Romney that the left has been says a strange new respect for. This is the same guy that was rejected and roundly condemned by Joe Biden for, quote, wanting to put y'all back in chains, as he was speaking to a black congregation.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not here to like love Mitt Romney right now. I still disagree with him politically.
Okay.
But it's just he's the only Republican that broke early. Like, now you have Mitch McConnell, so now it opens the floodgate for everybody to break off. But Romney and McCain were the only ones that broke off early, and that's because they're kind of like the old dog politics. They're like, you know, like, what is happening? I used to get beer with the people across the aisle, and now all of a sudden, like, and so you see where I'm getting at. You know, Mitt Romney was an early break off, as was I literally have his face in my name, the retired senator of Arizona next to John McCain. But, you know, you have a few other individuals that broke off early, but otherwise, you know, for the most part, people stuck in line. And so, you know, Democrats applaud those who broke line, because not that we're applauding them because, like, all right, Mitt Romney's a Democrat now. Like, no, Mitt's not going to vote for anything we vote for. He voted for your Supreme Court justices, every single one of them. Like, we don't like Mitt. We just are happy to see someone break off. We're like, all right, cool. But we're not here to like, we're not having a love fest for him.